How's it going, viewers? Mr. Incredi-Brony's back and he's rolling with the punches, baby. Welcome to a ranking tier list. We're going to be doing 3 tier lists today. Yes, I know I'm not doing reactions today, but listen, y'all. This week has been stressful. It was my first week back in college after a while. I've been doing some important family business. There's just so much to do, okay? And reactions take a while to upload and also a while to actually set up the process. So, however, every other video I do, like unboxing vids and tier lists and just random vlogs or reviews, they're really easy to record and really easy to set up, just a couple little things. But yeah, so I'm gonna do just 3 ranking tier lists for y'all. So as you already know, I did a Pixar tier list a long time ago. I want to do another one when Elemental comes out, so I have a definitive opinion for each Pixar film, because it is my favorite studio after all. But I also did Illumination recently after watching the fabulous Super Mario Bros. Movie and getting this really nice cut from the cinema. I love it so much. I thought, let's do more of the amazing animation studio world, and we're going to be doing 3 of them today. And I think these are going to be the last ones I do, but either way, we'll see for now. So, we're going to start off with DreamWorks. Yes, everybody loves some DreamWorks. I know I do. I'm more of a Pixar guy, but DreamWorks honestly does have a special place in my heart. I did watch a couple of their films as a kid, actually before I got into Pixar, but when I was 8 years old, by the way. And I got to rewatch a couple before 2022 when actually, no, I live in the UK, so Puss in Boots The Last Wish actually came out in 2023 of February, so I didn't get to watch it until then, and I was spoiled heavily on what happened, so yeah. You'll find out my opinion for the film later, but there will be spoilers ahead for this film. I mean, for every film, really. But I do have a rules. So here's how we have. We have the S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier as usual. I also have the have not seen tier because I bet there are some films I haven't seen yet in the DreamWorks library, but that doesn't matter because let's just get into this. Cue the music. So yeah, what is your favorite DreamWorks films and do you agree with my opinions? Doesn't matter. Either way, let's get into this. Grey cap, Incredibles t-shirt, let's go. Starting off with DreamWorks, and by the way, there's 45 of these, so this is going to be a long video. So yeah, 45. We're starting off, and it's going to be in chronological order as well. We have Ants, the one that started it all. Came out in the same year as A Bug's Life. I think for the first film of DreamWorks, it ain't too bad. I think, honestly, it's entertaining in some aspects, but I will say, overall, it is a bit forgettable. I think some of the characters are just too bland, and I really wasn't a fan of how they casted Christopher Walken as one of the characters. He just did not feel right for me personally. But overall, Ants is not a terrible film, and I could definitely watch it again if I feel like it. So I'll put Ants in the C tier. Then we have The Prince of Egypt. That is a great film. I wish that was the first DreamWorks film. That was incredible. Such a masterpiece. Underrated as well, really. And the fact that the director of the film was originally going to direct Brave as well is insane. I mean, she did help co-direct it with the new director, but still, Brenda Chapman knew how this film went, and the story is just lovely. It's just engaging, the music is lovely, it just makes you cry, it makes you smile, it's just such a feel-good film. Prince of Egypt deserves the S tier, I'm not gonna lie, it's an S tier. That's very insane. See, then we have The Road to El Dorado. This is, yeah, a lot of people like talking about this film because it's really funny. I mean, I understand why it's really funny. It's like The Emperor's New Groove a little bit, but just wackier, I guess. I mean, it's funny, but for story-wise, it's not the most strongest, really. I just find it a bit too underwhelming in certain places, but it's still funny, so I'll give credit where credit is due, so it's more entertaining than Ants, so I'll put The Road to El Dorado in a B tier. And then we have Chicken Run, DreamWorks' first work with Aardman Animations, one of my all-time favorites as well. Claymation is an amazing style of animation. I love stop motion, and I think the detail to claymation is really done well. My mother and I recently watched the Netflix film House, and the house was incredible. I loved the stop motion. It was terrifying at times, but I just love it like that. And Chicken Run has some terrifying moments in it. Like, there's a moment where you think a character got beheaded with an axe. Like, come on, you can't make this up, viewers. Yeah, Chicken Run was really good, and it has British humor in it, and I live in the UK, so to those who don't know, I live in the UK, but I was raised by a Serbian family, so there are different things about me, but hey, that's the way life works, viewers. So, yeah, Chicken Run, I think it's a great film. I would put it in the A tier. It's a lot of fun. I don't think it's a masterpiece like The Prince of Egypt, but still, A tier is great for me. What do we have next? Okay, then we have Okay, Joseph. Joseph, King of the Dreams. Okay, I have not seen this one. So, Joseph, King of Dreams, I've heard of it, have not seen it. I apologize, viewers. However, Shrek. Somebody once told me the world's gonna ruin me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kinda dumb with a finger and a thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Yeah, this is a feel-good movie. This and The Prince of Egypt is just both such masterpieces. I love these films. Yeah, Shrek, S for Shrek. Shrek deserves to be in the S tier, without a doubt. Like, viewers, my sister says it best. Shrek is love. Shrek is life. Don't search that up on the internet. Please don't do that. But trust me, Shrek is love. Shrek is life. It's a fact, viewers, okay? This is a franchise that will never die. Okay, the humor is great. The fact that it kind of makes fun of old school Disney is just brilliant. The fact that it opens up with a storybook telling is just so good. Shrek is played brilliantly by Mike Myers. Donkey, played by Eddie Murphy, is so much fun. I just love the portrayal of the characters, and the fight with them in the Dragon's Keep was really cool. And his interactions with Fiona were really funny too, voiced by Cameron Diaz. And I just loved Lord Farquaad as a villain. He may be short, but he's really powerful. Short people really are powerful if you think about it. Like Napoleon, for example. Short, but he took over a whole country. But yeah, Shrek is just a classic that just never dies. It will never die. I don't care what y'all say. And I'm not really excited for Shrek 5 or reboot really, but you know what? If it's good, it's good. I don't know. Whatever happens. Yeah, Shrek is just brilliant. You just can't get enough of it. Okay, then we have Spirit. Oh, yeah. Oh, what was it called again? Stallion of the Cimarron, I think it's pronounced. Yeah, Stallion of the Cimarron. Yeah, this is really good. I think it's underrated, honestly. I love the portrayal of the horses in this film. It just hits hard. And someone who, you know, loves My Little Pony, horses just mean so much to me. They're like a spirit animal of mine. So, yeah, Spirit is a really good, like, feel-good film. It has great music, really well-written characters, and just overall a very lovely story. It's great. So yeah, Spirit gets an A tier, like Chicken Run, without a doubt. Okay, then we have Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas. This will surprise y'all. I also have not seen this film, although I do know the scene where this weird alien-like character with long black hair is like bathing in these bubbles. I think it's bizarre. DreamWorks really does take a lot of risks. It's kind of off-putting. I don't know if I want to watch it because I'm kind of scared, but hey, whatever happens, I guess, really. But I am aware of some scenes that are kind of grotesque, not in a bad way, but yeah, Sinbad, I'll put it in. I haven't seen it, just like Joseph, King of Dreams, so yeah, don't annihilate me, viewers. I haven't seen everything. There's 45 DreamWorks films. However, the sequel to Shrek, I have seen countless times. Shrek 2 is just a spectacular sequel. Shrek-tacular. It ain't Ogre now, but this whole franchise is just layers and layers of just pure bliss. I love Shrek 2. I think it's actually better than Shrek 1 personally, because Shrek 2 actually builds on the world. I love how it actually gives you an origin to understanding of why Fiona was put in the town in the first place with the whole fairy godmother concept. And I actually loved that twist of Prince Charming being in Fairy Godmother's son. I did not see that coming. That was really good. And I really like King Harold and Queen Lillian. They are a great couple. And I especially love King Harold because he's voiced by John Cleese. I love John Cleese. I just love his voice so much. And when I first heard him in Shrek 2, I just can't stop laughing. And as an adult, I still can't stop laughing. And when I watched My Little Pony for the first time, I thought that Fancy Pants from Sweet and Elite, which is like my least favorite rarity episode, if you haven't seen my review of her yet, I think you should actually. I thought he was John Cleese. It isn't, but I thought it was. He just has that voice. But yeah, the music is, once again, really amazing. The Holding Out for a Hero sequence is probably the greatest sequence in any DreamWorks film. Like, don't quote me on that. I think it's the best moment in any DreamWorks film. It's like a cinematic experience we're never gonna get, viewers. I swear. And it came out in 2004, the same year as my favorite movie of all time, The Incredibles. Coincidence? I think not. Yeah, Shrek 2, solid S tier, better than Shrek, and honestly more rewatchable than The Prince of Egypt. I would say my favorite character in all the Shrek films, I would have to say is Pinocchio. I love his portrayal the most in the film because he does feel like it feels like a continuation from Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, where he learns to accept who he is and not change that he's going to be a real boy. He's going to just be a wooden puppet forever and befriend other creatures, you know. Except this one actually gets to put on real clothes and get rid of all the rusty nails. But yeah, also he wears a thong. What else can I say? He wears a thong. It's a thong! I love Shrek 2, I really do. It just parodies everything. It even makes a reference to the Spider-Man kiss from 2002. I'm not joking. Oh. And also, Shrek is a franchise that makes potty humor funny. Come on, Despicable Me, you could do better than that. Just, like, Shrek makes fart jokes funny, I swear, they do. And then we have, well, I just talked about a cinematic masterpiece. Now let's talk about a cinematic disaster. I think Shafilla's production said it best, but Shark Tale is just, oh, so bad. Like, why is this a film? I mean, just why? I guess it only exists just so you can make jokes that, hey, remember Oscar from Shark Tale? He just smacked the crap out of Marty from Madagascar. Do you get it? Because Chris Rock voices Marty and Will Smith voices Oscar. It's just, yeah, that's the only reason I find the film funny is because I know that Oscar is from that film. You know? I mean, it has Jack Black as, you know, the shark, but at the same time, it's just such a... It's a weird film. The concept is strange, and the only time I smiled in the movie was when they played the Welcome to the Car Wash, yeah. That's the only time I really enjoyed the film. That's it. I'm not really a fan. You know, the concept, the pacing. Shark Tale was just boring, really. It's a D tier. It's D tier without a doubt. It's just so bad. Oh my gosh. Also, fun fact: the girl that I think Oscar's supposed to be in love with is Angie. That's actually my aunt's name, so it's weird to hear her name. Also, I don't know if it's you. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't say this in my Disney live action ranking tier, which you should check out. I did actually a couple days ago, not too long ago. But Cleo's design did kind of remind me of Angie from Shark Tale. I don't know why. Instead of reminding me of something cute, it reminded me of something freaky and weird, like in Shark Tale. I don't know why. I don't know why they went for that design. It's just, why? Who wants to see a design like Shark Tale with these big fish lips? Just, ugh. Oh, speaking of Marty from Madagascar, we have Madagascar. Finally, a great DreamWorks film. Yeah, I really like Madagascar. The comedy, I would say, is the best. Out of all the DreamWorks films, I would say the comedy is the best in Madagascar because it has just such quotable moments and it has such an all-star cast. It has Ben Stiller as Alex the Lion. You have, like I said, Chris Rock as Marty. You have David Schwimmer as Melman, the giraffe, who is in Friends, who says, hey, how you doing? It's like, you just can't make this up, viewers. And the penguins are like such iconic characters. I love the penguins, honestly. They are just so much fun. And Kowalski analysis. I just love them. I would say Madagascar, the first film, was a lot of fun. It does have some heart in it as well, how, you know, animals are just always enclosed in a zoo. It does feel pretty sad. I'm not all for that. I prefer when animals get to run free, you know, in the wild. But I like how the film does it, presents it. It doesn't feel weird. It actually feels natural, you know? No pun intended, but yeah. But yeah, I think it's really good. I think Madagascar is a solid... I'll give it a solid A tier. I think it's funnier than the Road to El Dorado. Yeah, I think it's really good. My favorite line in the film would have to be, the Fools are attacking! Run for your lives! I just love saying that. Okay, then we have the second DreamWorks film, which has got the Aardman animation to it, Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. My all-time favorite DreamWorks movie. That's it, I said it. Bite me. Bite me, viewers. Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit is my favorite DreamWorks film. It's also my favorite, like, stop-motion animated film, which is like a full feature-length film. I just love it so much. Even though it's not my favorite Wallace and Gromit movie, that goes to The Wrong Trousers. But this film is just such an iconic film and honestly very underrated. It needs more attention. The soundtrack is spectacular. The voice acting is just brilliant. You have Helena Bonham Carter in it, you know, Bellatrix from Harry Potter. You have Ralph Fiennes as Victor Quatermain, who is, of course, Lord Voldemort himself. Like, come on. You have 2 characters from Harry Potter in a DreamWorks animated film for kids. You can't make this up, viewers. You just can't. Oh, I just love Gromit's expressions, how he doesn't even talk. He's just done so well. And the twist of Wallace being the were-rabbit himself is just insane. I didn't see that coming. It was so good. The comedy is brilliant as well. Not as funny as other as other DreamWorks films, but still up there. But yeah, overall, Wallace and Gromit Curse of the Were-Rabbit gets a solid S tier. I think to this day, it's my favorite DreamWorks film, and it holds a special place in my heart. And it's one of the few that I have on DVD, so it makes sense. So yeah, Wallace and Gromit Curse of the Were-Rabbit, solid S tier, best DreamWorks film. Bite me, viewers. Bite me. Okay, then we have another underrated film, Over the Hedge. Another really funny film with an all-star cast. You have, of course, Bruce Willis in it. You have Steve Carell. You have Wanda Sykes. You even have Thomas Hayden Church. Yes, Thomas Hayden Church, the guy who plays Flint Marko in Spider-Man 3, is the Verminator. Such a funny character. It's a wacky film, but I actually like the concept of how it explains food to the animal world, you know? I think it's really good and really smart. I also love how they named the hedge Steve, and Steve Carell voices Hammy, the squirrel. It's just genius. I love it. Yeah, Over the Hedge is a really fun film. Not amazing, but I'll give it a solid B tier. I think it's better than Road to El Dorado, without a doubt, but still, a lot of fun. I think it's great. Okay, then we have the third and sadly final DreamWorks film that has the stop-motion animated Aardman style. And that, of course, is Flushed Away. Flushed Away. Again, I think it's underrated. I love this film. I actually also have this film on DVD. I think, once again, an all-star cast. You have Hugh Jackman as Rodney. You have Kate Winslet as Rita. You even have, what's his name? Ian McKellen, Gandalf himself from Lord of the Rings as the Toad. It's just brilliant. I just love it. Flushed Away is great. Solid A tier. And surprisingly, it doesn't have a lot of polyhumor, which is weird. And it's called Flushed Away, and it involves a rat being flushed in his own toilet into a place called Ratopolis, where rats live in harmony. Really, it's a really nice concept. I really like it. And again, comedy is brilliant. Okay, then we have Shrek the Third. I know people really despise this film. I get it, but I don't think this film is terrible, but it does have some bad moments in it. Like, I think the comedy is a bit of a step down, and I think having Prince Chum be the villain again was kind of lame. I think we already took care of him in the previous film, and the way they did the death of King Harold was insulting. That's the only time I really despise the film, is when it actually does the death of King Harold. That is just wrong. I liked him in Shrek 2, so getting rid of him so quickly was just wrong. So, yeah, Shrek the Third, I give it a C tier. It could have been worse, but it could have been better as well, really. You know, but there are entertaining moments in it, and of course Shrek finds out he's going to be a father. I thought that was really cute, you know, and the babies, surprisingly, the ogre babies are really adorable. I don't know why, they just are. They have my cheeks as well, just more bulgy. Okay, then we have, oh, dang it, oh, why? I forgot this was a DreamWorks film for some reason, I don't know why. It's the B movie. Jerry Seinfeld, what have you done to yourself? I don't even know. I don't even want to talk about this film. D tier. Just D tier, that's all I'm going to say. Yes, the concept is at first interesting, but then the whole relationship that Barry B. Benson, I think. Is that his name, Barry B. Benson? I forgot the name. I think it's Barry B. Benson has a relationship with Vanessa, the human. It's just, it's just so bizarre. I don't know. I just find it very out of the ordinary, and it's weird, but it does have some nice, a bit of a good message to it about, you know, humans stealing honey from bees, but it's actually important, you know. The environment is important, you know, but like, I don't know. It's just too weird of a concept, and the comedy is just so awkward. I don't know. It's just so odd. Also, there's a moment in the film where Barry Benson gets the FBI to shoot Winnie the Pooh. Like, why do you do that? Why? That's my childhood. Don't hurt Winnie the Pooh. He's just having a honey pot. Like, come on. so messed up. So yeah, detail without a doubt. Oh, then we have another masterpiece, Kung Fu Panda. I love Kung Fu Panda. Yeah, the comedy in Kung Fu Panda is incredible. I love Jack Black as Poe. Jack Black is just an amazing actor in general, really. Like, dude, he's in this film as Bowser. Like, how can you not love him? So yeah, I think this feels like a bit like Karate Kid, but done extremely well. I loved the message of like the only way something is so special is to believe it is. You know, that's why Poe's father, Mr. Ping, the goose, the goose, says there is no secret ingredient because you have to believe it's special. And I really love that concept because that's actually something I live by. I really love that. So yes, I really enjoy this film. Kung Fu Panda is a solid S tier, and I just love the animation style. And this one came out in 2008, I believe. And yeah, this film still looks beautiful. It has the beautiful 2D visual aspects that Puss in Boots: The Last Wish has. That's how great it is. And then we have Madagascar 2, or Madagascar Escape to Africa. Nice little play on words there. I see what you did there. Honestly, a solid sequel. I think it's better than Madagascar. It's not only funnier, but also it got more emotion to it as well. I think knowing the origin of Alex the lion, or how he actually got into the zoo, is really upsetting. In New York, nonetheless, viewers. Like, he was actually a real cub that got taken away by his father, which was really upsetting. This film is essentially The Lion King, but a little bit. Not entirely, but just a little bit, really. I also do like Mukunga as the antagonist, because he's voiced by Alec Baldwin. He's just so funny. Because, again, Alec Baldwin, as you should know, is the conductor from the Thomas and Friends and the Magic Railroad movie, which is ironically, I mean, in my opinion, the best Thomas film. Don't quote me on that, viewers. I think it's the best Thomas movie, and Alec Baldwin as the conductor is great. And in this film, he's the antagonist, Mukunga. So you can't really take him seriously, but you can't help but love him. So yeah. I think the other side plots were done really well. Having Marty find a bunch of other zebras that look just like him and sound like Chris Rock is literally voicing every single one of them. That's just hilarious. Melvin becoming a witch doctor was really cute, and Gloria finding true love with Moto, who, can we all agree, Moto is really handsome. Like, who doesn't want to go out with him? I'm just saying. Like, this film also has some surprising butt shots. You know, it starts to feel like a My Little Pony episode, if you know what I mean. You get it? You watch it for the plot? It's a joke, viewers. But yeah, Madagascar Escape to Africa, solid S tier, better than the first one, but yeah. Great, and the penguins rule as usual. Also, can we just talk about the grandma, the Bubba? She is the MVP. She is strong. Do not mess with the Bubba. She can beat you into submission, okay? Just don't mess with the grannies. They are strong. You're a bad kitty. Okay, then we have Monsters vs. Aliens. Okay, This film is meh for me. I put it in the C tier. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's amazing either. It's fun, you know? I think the concept of having, you know, a bunch of scary aliens come to your world and you have to rely on not humans but monsters to feed them is actually pretty cool. But I think the villain and their motivation was just kind of weak, really, and some of the characters are kind of forgettable, but it's not a bad film. It's just underwhelming, really, but it's still funny at times. Okay, then we have How to Train Your Dragon, another masterpiece. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Definitely S tier. How to Train Your Dragon is such an amazing film. How can you not love this film? Okay, Hiccup is just such a great protagonist. I love Toothless so much, and the music, the style of action is just done so well. I just love it so much. It just gets funnier as well, and it's also very emotional, and this film definitely made me reconnect with my dad a lot as well, because even he admitted he wants to protect me, so he doesn't let me do big things, you know. But now that I'm older, I can do these big things, but my dad still reminds me good luck, son, and I love that, and I can have this one to remind me of those moments. It's just so cute. Yeah, and my dog Soprano, you've met my dog Soprano. He looks a little bit like Toothless, just without the green eyes. Okay, then we have Shrek Forever After. Yes, this is what you call the definitive ending. This honestly made me appreciate the entire Shrek franchise as a whole. You know, we deserve this sequel. It is honestly underrated and a masterpiece. I think it's really great. I actually think it's a lot better than the first Shrek movie. I don't think it's as great as Shrek 2, but Shrek Forever After is definitely a solid S tier, without a doubt. Not as amazing as Shrek 2 and not as funny, but still really well done. And as someone who likes the film It's a Wonderful Life, this film is that concept just with ogres, and it's really, really good. I think it's relatable to a lot of parents who find it stressful to take care of their kids, but also have, you know, their sidelines and their hobbies to do. It's honestly a film that you can actually relate to on such a deep level. I can't because I'm not a parent yet. Well, I mean, I'm never going to be a parent. I'm going to be single. I'm going to be single forever, viewers. It's a fact. But I can still see people who can relate to this, and I think it was handled really well. And also, the villain, the new villain, which was Rumpelstiltskin, or Rumpelstiltskin, he was really funny. I really liked him as a villain. He was actually really good. Not as amazing as Lord Farquaad, I would say, but still really fun. And yeah, Shrek Forever After is just really, really good, and I loved how it shows another dimension of what happens if Shrek did not save Fiona. It was just so good. The best part was seeing Puss in Boots really, you know, chubby. That was the best part. Making him look like Garfield. That was really funny. Okay, then we have Megamind. Yes, yes, yes. Once again, underrated masterpiece. Solid S tier. Will Ferrell as Megamind himself. Brad Pitt. Yes, Brad Pitt as Metro Man. Jonah Hill as Titan. Tina Fey as Roxanne Ritchie. And of course, David Cross as Minion. This film is just such an incredible film. I love it. Comedy is just brilliant. Soundtrack is pretty dang good. And the whole concept of having a villain be the main character and understand what it's like for it to be a villain is actually really well done. And in all honesty, if you were a villain and defeated the hero, what is your purpose now? It's like, what is it? I really enjoyed this film, and looking back on it, it just holds up so well. I love Megamind. It's just so great, and the soundtrack is just so great. It has a lot of rock songs, including a Guns N' Roses song, which is like my uncle's favorite band. So like, dang, DreamWorks, you go. Okay, and then we have sorry. Sometimes I get very choky when I'm talking too much. Okay. Kung Fu Panda 2, a really good sequel. I personally do prefer the first one slightly more, but Kung Fu Panda 2, I would give a high A tier. It's really good. It really is. I think it's a really good film overall. But, I'd say it wasn't as exciting as the first one. I do love Lord Shen as a villain. Lord Shen as a villain was really great, being an evil peacock voiced by Gary Oldman. I thought that was really great, and I think the whole concept of learning Poe's origin was great. I think we deserved that, and it just makes the ending really heartwarming and very heartbreaking as well. It was such a cute moment. But I think the first one was just more entertaining overall. I think the progression of having Poe become the Dragon Warrior was more entertaining for me personally. I still really like Kung Fu Panda 2. It's a solid A tier, just not S tier like Kung Fu Panda 1. Let's continue. Puss in Boots from 2000 and... Wow, did this one come in 2011? Oh my god, that's insane. Yeah, I understand. People do not like this film for some reason. I don't mind it. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, Puss in Boots is actually really good. I think it's a great origin of how Puss in Boots was raised as a little kitten. And I actually do think the concept of Jack and Jill as villains was really cool. Although it was weird when Jack told Jill I want to have a baby, because like, aren't they siblings technically? I don't know. Although Jack is voiced by Billy Bob Thornton, which was great casting. And I loved Salma Hayek as Kitty Softpaws. She was so badass. She was like Assassin's Creed but in cat form. And Antonio Banderas just steals the role. He owned Puss in Boots. We just love him for it. Yeah, the twist of his long lost partner Humpty Dumpty, or Humpty Alexander Dumpty, voiced by Zach Galifianakis. Again, I thought was really unexpected. I did not expect that. It was really cool. The film is funny at times, but yeah, I would say it's honestly a fun film, just not amazing. So I put it in the B tier, really. There's nothing really bad about it. It's just enjoyable overall. So people giving it bad reviews, it's just, really? Is it really that bad? No, not really. I guess the only downside is the climax. I think the climax is the only underwhelming part. The climax is kind of meh, but overall, it's just a fun film. And then we have Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. Really good. Count Dubois is an amazing character, and all the new characters were really done well. I loved the Russian tiger. I forgot his name. I'm just gonna call him Russian Tony the Tiger. This train is for circus animals only. And I love how in this one the whole gang realizes that they don't need to be in the zoo anymore. They can just be with their own kind and just be in the circus. That's actually done really well. I really like that. Not as great as the first two, but still really fun and a great way to end the franchise overall. And then we have Rise of the Guardian. My mom and I actually watched this last Christmas and it was a lot of fun. We did not know that Chris Pine was the voice of Jack Frost. I did not see that coming. I actually didn't know that. That's actually really cool. I really enjoyed this film, and I loved I just loved the like, I guess you could say, perspective on how they see these beautiful mythical characters from as you were a kid. Like, I never thought the Tooth Fairy would be so attractive. I always thought she was like a really small, cute little Tinkerbell kind of girl, but no, the Tooth Fairy in the Rise of the Guardian is like a big, attractive girl. Like, seriously, dang, I had such a crush on her back then. I still do. Easter Bunny is a big boy, voiced by Will Arnett, and he's also Australian, which is, I mean, amazing. I love Australia. And Santa, oh my gosh, he's a scary lad. He's actually Russian. He's got tattoos of the naughty and nice kids, and voiced by Alec Baldwin. What is it with Alec Baldwin in these DreamWorks films? He's actually in another film we're going to talk about later. Oh my gosh, I just realized. That's so cool. Alec Baldwin really is the man in these DreamWorks films. I love him. Yeah, Rise of the Guardians is overall a fun film. I guess my only complaint is the villain, Pitch Black, is just meh as a villain. But still, it's a really fun film, and I think you should watch it every single year for Christmas. So yeah, solid A tier. Low A tier, actually. But still, really fun film. And the question is, viewers, what did the moon never tell you? What did it tell you? Princess Luna, that's what it told me. Okay, then we have The Cruise. This one is meh. I don't mind this film. I don't think it's amazing or bad. I think it has a great cast. It has Nicolas Cage, Emma Stone, and Ryan Reynolds. Great actors. Film is interesting enough. I like the concept of it being like kind of like a Flintstones thing, you know, where it's like the olden days. But I think the Flintstones did it better personally. So The Cruise is still an entertaining film. It has some great comedy and there's some heart there, but just not enough of it really. I just think the whole plot pacing was a little bit slow for me, but still, it's a fun film. So yeah, Cruise is a C tier. C for Cruise. Okay, then we have Turbo. Whoa, that snail is fast. Yeah, Turbo is it has Ryan Reynolds in it. There we go, another Ryan Reynolds film. It's okay. I don't think it's that bad, but it's fine enough, really. It's got some funny moments in it. It has Samuel Jackson in it, which is cool, and it also has Ben Schwartz, who is the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog in the live-action films, which is really cool. And yeah, that's all I could say, really. I don't know what else to say. Oh, it also has Michael Pena in the film as the guy who sells the tacos, who found the snails. And Michael Pena is the voice of got his name. What's his name? It's the character from the My Little Pony movie, the short guy that everyone finds irritating. His name, I forgot his name. I always forget his name. No, it doesn't matter. Okay, then we have Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Okay, this is actually nice. This is a nice and cute, heartwarming film. I'd give this a B tier. There's nothing else I really want to say about it. I think it's funny, it's cute, but just not amazing. So yeah, B tier for Mr. Peabody and Sherman. And yeah, Turbo is a C tier. Did I mention that? I don't know. Okay, How to Train Your Dragon 2. This is a hot take, but I think it's a great sequel, but not a great movie, if that makes sense. I think this is an A tier, but this film does feel a bit similar to the first film, and that's a bit of a problem for me. But that's it. That's my only problem with the film. But overall, it's an A tier, nonetheless. It's fun. It's fun. Penguins of Madagascar. Really good, honestly. Very underrated as well. I'd give it a solid B tier. It's really good. I think The Penguins of Madagascar is a really funny film. It actually introduces new characters as well. I think Dave the Octopus is hilarious. And yeah, Penguins of Madagascar is a really fun film. I like it. Solid B tier. Okay, then we have Home. Ooh. this film has mixed opinions, and I actually really like this film. I don't know why. I just really like it. It's actually beautiful. I love Jim Parsons, Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory as Rihanna is really funny as Gratuity Tucci, or Tip, actually. And you even have Steve Martin. Steve Martin is in this film as Captain Smek. And I think this film is actually very entertaining. I like the way the Boog talk. It's like lolcat English. It's like, yo, can I come in the outs now? You are arresting. It's really funny the way they talk. And I think it's a really cute film. It's just really cute. It's funny at times. The songs and the soundtrack is kind of a bit of a mixed bag for me. It's like, it's nice, but they feel out of place. You know what I'm saying? But overall, Home is just such a cute film, and I just really like it. And I don't know why people don't like it. It's not that bad. So I'll put it in the low B tier. Low B tier, I'll put it. Okay, Kung Fu Panda 3. This, once again, I don't understand the hate. This film is great. Solid A tier. Kung Fu Panda 3 is great. I think it wraps up things perfectly for Poe. I love the introduction to Bryan Cranston as the voice of Li Shan, Poe's real father. That was really good. J.K. Simmons is the voice of Kai, the villain, and he was amazing too. Also, we get Master Oogway. Oogway was the best part of Kung Fu Panda 1, so seeing him again in this film was great. So yeah, Kung Fu Panda 3 is how you do a conclusion to an ending. People who don't like this film, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Okay, then we have Troll, a jukebox musical, which is like Strange Magic, but this is like 10 times better. I like Trolls. It's cute. I like it. It's really funny. It's really cute. And I think Anna Kendrick as Poppy is great. I think Anna Kendrick should play Amy Rose in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I think she'd be perfect. And Keanu Reeves should be Shadow. That's a fact, viewers, without a doubt. Justin Timberlake is Branch, who was also in Shrek the Third as Arthur. Look at that. And J.K. Simmons in Kung Fu Panda 3 was actually in Megamind. There you go, as the Warden. I have a really good memory. I don't know why, I just do. Yeah, but Trolls is really cute, and I love the message as well. Like, it's like, happiness is something you don't put inside of you, you just need to find it. And I really like that. It's something that Pinkie Pie would write. And all the song covers are really great. I like song covers, so yeah, Trolls is a solid A tier. And then we have another Alec Baldwin film, The Boss Baby. Yeah, this film is weird, but like, I do really like it. It's actually not... It's weird, like I said, but it's just such a funny concept of, like, babies running this corporation, and they have the voices of these adults, and they have this milk that makes them stay as a baby, but they still have the personality of an old guy. And, the boss baby himself explains that, the world is loving puppies more than babies because they're just cuter, which is just... It's so ridiculous, but I just... it's one of those films that's so bad with its concept, but it's good with the execution that you just can't help but like it. It's just too funny. I really... I just can't stop... Even the poster that I'm looking right now with the baby just looking at me with the raised eyebrow is just so funny. And it's Alec Baldwin. I just love him. I can't do this. Okay. 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 I need another one. Okay, I'll calm down. Boss Baby, C tier. That's it, C tier. Let's continue. Captain Underpants, the first epic movie, with the theme song performed by Weird Al. Yes, Cheese Sandwich himself does the theme song for the credits of the song, which is, are you worried about a thing you do? Those evil villains got you filled with gloom. Captain Underpants, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's Weird Al. Okay, Captain Underpants has a really great style to it. I love the animation too. I never read the comics as a kid, but I am aware of them, and I think it actually does the animation really, really well. Comedy is pretty good, and the voice acting is actually pretty great. We have Kevin Hart as George, Thomas what is his name? Thomas Middleditch. Yeah, there you go. Thomas Middleditch as Harold. You have Ed Helms as the evil principal, but is also Captain Underpants himself. It's really good, honestly. It's actually a pretty good film. And I also have to admit, it's funny how the principal's name is Mr. Crop. And get this, from The Incredibles, Dash's teacher is actually called Bernie Crop. They have the same last name. I don't know if that was intentional or that was just a complete coincidence. Coincidence? I think not! How many times am I going to say that? Yeah, Captain Underpants is honestly it's a fun movie. Not amazing, but I give it a B tier overall. It's fun. It's really fun. And funny. Professor Poopy Pants. And then we have How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World. This honestly felt like the right sequel, honestly. However, I do have an issue with it. The build-up is kind of underwhelming. The conclusion, the climax is great, but the whole build-up is a little bit underwhelming. So for that reason, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World is a B tier. Yeah, the first film was S, second film is A, and the third movie is B. That's kind of sad. That's why I think Shrek and Madagascar and Kung Fu Panda are better franchises overall. My favorite franchise would have to be, I think my favorite trilogy would have to go to, I don't know, I actually don't know. I don't know if it's Kung Fu Panda or Madagascar. It's one of those two. Whichever one is more entertaining, I guess. Because they're all really, really good. Okay, then we have Abominable. Abominable is not adorable, but it's just fine. It's a D tier. It's not bad, but it's kind of boring. Trolls World Tour. Basically Avengers Infinity War. You know, Queen Barb has to find 6 strings, you know, you get the idea. Trolls World Tour is entertaining and really funny. Not as well written as the first movie, but still a really entertaining film overall. And I love Queen Barb as an antagonist and how she's voiced by Rebecca Bloom, who, fun fact, voices Autumn Blaze from My Little Pony Season 8. You know, the Kieran who sings The Sounds of Silence. It's amazing, it really is. So for that reason, Trolls World Tour gets a solid B tier, really. The first one was an A, this one's a B tier. Crew the New Age. I don't want to talk about this one. It's a D tier. It's not really that good at all. It's not good. Okay, then we have the Spirit sequel. I have not seen the sequel, so yeah, I have not seen the sequel to Spirit. I know, right? That's bad, Incredi-Brony. You're bad, Incredi-Brony. Why would you not watch the sequel to Spirit? It's a great film. I apologize. The Boss Baby Back in Business. It's even more ridiculous than the first one, so it's a D tier. The Boss Baby was at least entertaining, so it's a C tier. But The Boss Baby Back in Business, dude, was just... No, I did not like it. D tier. Okay, then we have Troll Hunters. I have not seen Troll Hunters. I apologize. That's 4 DreamWorks films I have not seen. Okay, then we have the 2 final ones, the most recent ones yet. The Bad Guys. The Bad Guys is DreamWorks at their best, really. It's an S tier. DreamWorks really does know how to make a lot of really amazing films. And The Bad Guys is definitely a great one. I loved the concept of it. I think it's like Zootopia, but better, really. The concept is great. The comic book style to it is really gorgeous. And all the characters are very likable. My favorite character is Miss Tarantula, mostly because she's voiced by Awkwafina. And I love spiders in general, really. Diane Foxington is a really attractive character, and the plot twist of her being the Crimson Paw was really good. That was unexpected. I knew that Marmalade was going to be the villain, but he still had a really good plan. So at least the twist wasn't ruined by a terrible plan. He actually had a good plan and motivation, you know, so that's good. Yeah, The Bad Guys is an S tier, without a doubt. I would love to see more of them in the future, but overall, such a fun film. Not as funny as other DreamWorks films, but still really funny. And then we finally have Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I enjoyed this film, I really did. I think it was better than Puss in Boots, but I don't think it's amazing. I thought it was great, like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse style. I prefer that film overall, but Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is an A tier. I know this is gonna maybe make you want to despise me, but Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is great and all, but it's just not a film I want to watch again. I feel like it's a bit of an acid trip. There's just too much to watch and go over with, and I don't know. I think as much as I enjoyed Death as the villain, he wasn't the most... I don't think he's the best villain of the DreamWorks category, personally. And yeah, overall, it's a really fun film. I would watch it again, but I would say it's just... I've just seen better, really. So yeah, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is a solid A tier. It's really good, but I've just seen better, personally. It's still really good. And so, there you go. That's my opinion on all the DreamWorks films. What is your favorite? And do you agree with my opinions or do you disagree? What do you think? And I will say this. Wow, no joke. There's actually 10 DreamWorks films in the S tier. That's actually funny. So my top 10 DreamWorks films are The Bad Guys, How to Train Your Dragon, Madagascar Escape to Africa, Megamind, Kung Fu Panda, Shrek, The Prince of Egypt, Shrek Forever After, Shrek 2, and finally, Wallace and Gromit Curse the Were-Rabbit. There you go. Those are my top 10 DreamWorks films. I love you all, and I shall see you all in the next ranking tier list. But if you enjoyed this particular video, leave a like on it. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're interested, follow me on Instagram, link down below. And until then, stay positive, keep calm, stay safe, be incredible. And as always, Brony on. Peace.